It is exactly 10 o'clock time for me to wrap up, but we need to squeeze in this very important interview. It has to do with a measles outbreak, and let's make everybody aware of this issue in South Africa. We're going to be talking with Dr. Nishi Prabdial-Sing. She is with the NICD to talk about an outbreak in Limpopo province. Dr. Nishi, very good morning. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Okay, about 10 days ago, I came across a report in Zimbabwe, and there seems to have been a large outbreak of measles, and they ramped up a very aggressive vaccination program in that country. And at the time, I thought, well, it's not long before we're going to be having cases of measles being reported in our country. How serious, in fact, is the situation in South Africa? I understand about between 9 to 12 cases have been reported. And how does it come about?
Okay, so you're quite right. It is an epidemic in Zimbabwe, and we do see an infiltration into South Africa, amongst other reasons why the measles cases are rising in the country. And one of those could be due to the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, as well as the lockdown, and moms and caregivers were not taking children for their vaccines. And now we have measles rampant, particularly in the Limpopo province, as you quite rightly said so. So around the 22nd, 25th of September were the first cases of onset of measles in the province. And up to date, up to yesterday, we have 12 cases that have been confirmed in our laboratory in the Greater Sekhukhune district in Limpopo province. Over and above that, there were 3 added cases in the Mopani district in Limpopo province. And as a result, we do expect to see increases in the province as the time and as the reports come through the lab.
So, Dr. Nishi, can I carry on? Can I pose my question? Okay. I understand that a few of those patients were immunized. Some of them weren't because the parents neglected to take them for their immunizations. And of course, because of COVID, everything was shut down. But what about those kids that have been immunized? How come they presenting with measles now?
Okay. So there are rare, cases where after immunization, the child, if it's rampant in an area, the child can get the virus, but the vaccine will protect the child from getting an outright measles infection with damaging effects and serious consequences. So the vaccine, to a large extent, does protect the child and will present with mild disease in those children that are vaccinated. So out of the 12, we only have 3 cases of the 12 that had presented with measles after being fully immunized. But the majority of the cases are unknown vaccine history and 3 of the other cases have not been vaccinated at all.
Okay, so for concerned parents, I think we're all concerned here in South Africa. What's our next step now? What do we do? If our children haven't been immunized, would you suggest please go out and get them vaccinated ASAP? And what happens to those children that have now been identified as, with measles, whether it's mild or severe cases, once they've overcome the spate of the symptoms and they've been treated effectively, hopefully, would they then be vaccinated as well? What's the scenario going forward?
Okay, so it's just very important that everybody is aware of the symptoms of measles. It presents with fever and this rash, which is small flat spots that present from the head, moving down the trunk, neck, trunk, and limbs. Also, cough, red eyes, conjunctivitis, and runny nose might be symptoms in the early phase of measles. It's very important that if measles is suspected, the parents or the caregivers take the child to the nearest clinic so that they can get tested. A blood sample and a throat swab will be taken and sent to the lab for confirmation of whether it's measles. And it's very important to isolate those individuals that are presenting with symptoms and are tested positive. That prevents the spread of the virus in the community, in the schools, for example. And as you quite rightly said, the vaccines, please check road to health cards, go, the parents should be very, very aware of whether their children have been vaccinated. And it's never too late to get vaccinated. So if your child has missed the measles vaccine or has missed a dose, please get your child to the nearest healthcare facility. It's free of charge. They can just catch up on their vaccines if they haven't had it. And so that is the message that we are giving out, is just to make sure that all children have their 2 doses of measles vaccine to prevent the
So,
spread of measles.
Dr. Nishi, you have indicated that the child or children need to be isolated, and that, of course, suggests that it is very contagious. Are we as adults at risk if our children are, down with measles? What ought we be doing? Even though I think I remembered I've had all my vaccinations way back in the day.
Yes. So if you've had your vaccine and you're an adult, you should be protected for life. And even if you do have a measles onset, it should be very mild. You wouldn't be as sick as those that don't have the vaccine. Just to say, if you're over the age of 20 and you didn't have the vaccine, there are dire and serious consequences. If you do pick up measles now, you can get encephalitis, pneumonia, and even death from measles in the older age groups. So it's very important that you also make sure that you are immune. If you had measles before or are currently having measles, your immunity will be able to protect you going forward. There's no need for you to take any measles shots. Just symptomatically, get treated and just stay away from the others.
Is measles fatal in children under the age of 5 or under the age of 10, for example?
So under the age of 5, it's documented that it can be fatal if they're not vaccinated at all. They can have these serious complications, and they can present with serious illness and die.
So obviously parents need to be vigilant, and you've shared signs and symptoms with us. If you pick that up from your children, any one of your children, make a beeline to the doctors. So thank you indeed, Dr. Nishi Prabdial-Sing, for talking to us about the outbreak of measles in South Africa. Let's all be vigilant. Let's put awareness and education out into the schools as well, so that teachers can be on the lookout as well. Once again, thank you and have a great day.
Thank you.
It is exactly 9 after 10 o'clock, way past my wrap up time, but thank you for your indulgence regarding running over time. Hope you've enjoyed the show as much as I've enjoyed your company. Don't forget, you and I will be together again tomorrow morning at the same time. A big shout out to the production team. And as always, it is Assalamu alaikum and Khuda Hafiz from me, Julie Ali, and the News and Views production team right here on Salam Media.